consumer attention is fragmenting across thousands of new digital devices. Digital set-top boxes, smartphones, gaming platforms, IPTVs, wireless digital photo frames. It's a long and continually expanding list. And our marketing budgets are following consumer attention across all of these new digital channels. And as you know, all of these new digital devices are creating an explosion of data, a digital exhaust as consumers interact with all of these new digital devices. And that creates opportunities for marketers that invest in analyzing that data. Because not only does it enable marketers to better measure the ROI that they're getting on their campaign investments, but it also enables marketers to take advantage of direct response and predictive analysis techniques in order to achieve dramatic increases in targeting precision, and therefore in the response and ROI that they get from their campaigns. What this massive industry transformation means for all of us individually as marketers is that the very nature of our jobs are changing, because marketing and data analysis are now inexorably intertwined. In fact, in the future, many of our most critical marketing challenges will actually be technology challenges. So as we look across our customer landscape, there are really 4 different types of data-related challenges that are consistently among the top priorities for our customers. There's the data aggregation problem, the segmentation problem, the matching problem, and the bidding problem. And the reason for this is simple. It's because marketers that are able to solve these 4 problems create an essential foundation for differentiating their firms from the competition and for creating value in the form of strategic customer insight. So let's talk about the data aggregation problem. Now, this is the problem that's created by the hugely fragmented marketing technology ecosystem that's required in order to solve our modern marketing problems. The bottom line is that our marketing tools simply don't talk to each other. Right? Our search engine marketing tools don't talk to our web analytics tools. Our email marketing platforms don't talk to our buying platforms for display advertising. And this creates critical challenges for marketers, because as long as our tools are operating on these independent data sets, much of the value in that underlying data is being lost. Now, on the other hand, marketers that are able to aggregate the data silos that are created by these disparate tools are able to create a strategic marketing asset. So next, let's talk about the segmentation problem. Now, I know I don't need to explain the value of segmentation to an audience full of marketers, but there is one important point that I wanted to highlight here, which is that in this digital world that we all now live in, nearly every marketing channel is by definition a direct response channel. And what that implies is that we should all be incorporating that digital exhaust data that I referenced earlier into our segment definitions. And importantly, we should be constantly resegmenting with the most recently available digital exhaust data, because the audience behaviors reflected in that data are constantly changing. And only by incorporating those most recent behaviors into our targeting frameworks are we able to maximize targeting precision and therefore campaign response and ROI. So this is yet another example of a scenario in which increasing analytic performance translates directly into business value for marketers. So next, let's talk about the matching problem. Marketing is, at its heart, a matching problem, right? Because marketers are constantly attempting to match the right message with the right person at the right time. And I really want to emphasize the time factor in that equation, because it's critically important. And the reason for that is because our target audiences are constantly moving through conversion funnels. And the right message for our target audience is completely dependent on their position in the funnel that they're moving through. And so what that implies is that matching algorithms that take too long to analyze data that's too old are simply not good enough. They simply won't cut it. It's only by maximizing the analytic performance associated with your matching algorithm are you able to maximize the relevance of your messaging. And we all know that increasing relevance increases campaign response. And there's really no such thing as too much relevance. So this is yet another example of a scenario in which increasing analytic performance translates directly into business value for marketers. And last, we have the bidding problem. So marketers have been bidding in online auctions for search engine keywords for years now. We now also have real-time bidding on display advertising via large-scale ad exchanges. And the exchange-based media buying model is only increasing in prevalence across both digital and traditional channels. And the important implication for marketers is that predictive analysis techniques are now really required in order to optimize media buying decisions and maximize campaign ROI. So this slide reflects how, for example, you can use price volume forecasting to determine the optimal bid in order to maximize the profitability of a campaign. And it's yet another example of a scenario in which increasing analytic performance translates directly into business value for marketers. So as you might imagine, every organization climbs a maturity curve with respect to their ability to leverage increasingly advanced classes of data analysis in order to create competitive advantage. Most firms start out with simple static reporting and move on to ad hoc analysis and then predictive analysis and ultimately machine learning and optimization techniques. And the universal truth that we see is that the firms that are able to climb this curve the fastest are the firms that win. So I've touched on a number of specific scenarios in which increasing analytic performance translates into business value for marketers. I've talked about the data aggregation problem, the segmentation problem, the matching problem, the bidding problem. And solving these problems may have seemed nearly impossible as recently as just a few short years ago, especially in light of the explosion of digital exhaust data that overwhelms the ability of traditional technologies to address these problems. But the good news is that solutions to these problems are now easily within reach, because the fundamental technology breakthrough that Netezza has introduced means that the state of the art has changed. And my colleagues and I would welcome the opportunity to chat with you about these ideas in more detail, and so I want to encourage you to reach out to us, either electronically or in person.